show how Russia is stepping up its deployments near Ukraine with aircraft, vehicles at air bases, and training areas. Ukraine assesses that Russia will soon have more than 120,000 troops on the border. Short on options, the Ukrainian president sent this message from Kiev to Moscow.
Does Ukraine want the war? No, it doesn't. But is Ukraine ready for the war? Yes, it is. Will Ukraine stop trying to achieve peace by diplomatic means? Never. But will Ukraine defend itself in case of something? Always. Our stand is simple. Ukraine never starts the war first, but we always stand till the end. Mr. Putin, I'm ready to go even further and invite you to meet anywhere in the Ukrainian Donbass where there is a war. Glory to Ukraine. Slava Ukraine.
Zelensky is inviting Putin for talks, but it doesn't look like Moscow wants a dialogue. Tensions escalated this week when Russia carried out more military exercises in the Black Sea. Reports say the Russians are planning to block parts of these waters, a move that could impact access to Ukrainian ports. Those living near the borders are afraid. Many people have begun to leave their homes. Those who are still around fear that a war could soon break out.
I know we will have war. We have had a truce, and it will be war again. I heard that military equipment was being transported here. People are leaving little by little. I don't know what we should do. We have nowhere to go at the moment.
For the United States, Russia still remains the aggressor. Ukraine's other ally, the European Union, believes it would take just a spark to settle the confrontation. An assessment that was validated by Vladimir Putin himself, the Russian president, used his annual State of the Union speech to deliver a warning to the West.
In some countries, they have started an obscene custom of blaming Russia for anything, like it was some kind of sport. I hope that no one will think of crossing the red line with Russia, and where this line will be, in every particular case, we will determine it ourselves.
The Russian military buildup has been going on for weeks now, but what's motivating Moscow's aggression still remains unclear. Either Russia is posturing by putting pressure on Kiev, or this is a serious bid to launch an offensive against Ukraine from a state of the erstwhile Soviet Union. Either way, it is US President Joe Biden's resolve that is being tested. Bureau report. Wion. Smart.
Wion is now available in your...
Shalom. All praise the Al Bashim Yashal Bashim Rakakadash, the wonders to the elders and apostles for the edification and knowledge. Kahayan Yabashimish Yabashal Kahayan Yabashim Yashal Bashim Rakakadash. Give all praise to Yahweh Bashim Yashal Bashim Rakakadash. That's relating to the continuing buildup of troops relating to the Ukraine border by Russia at the Ukraine border. That's Wion video. I'm going to go to Job. I want to read Job 3, 9, and 10. Proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So these men are preparing for war. Let them come up. So these mighty men, these mighty nations, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. So that relates to agricultural paraphernalia equipment. And let the weak say, I am strong. So these nations are saying they're no longer weak, they're becoming strong. Like Ukraine. Like Ukraine don't really want war, but if they had to go to war, they're prepared to go to war. So they no longer saying, for example, we are weak, we're ready, you know? So they have that Cold War, that pre-Cold War spirit, man. That's both Russia and these nations, man. I'm going to go to Ezekiel 37, Ezekiel 38, Shalakia. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesies against him, that's Russia. Say, thus saith the Lord, how behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech of Tubal. And that's the same people, Russia. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy armies, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even great company of bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. The swords is their weapons, man, particularly their missiles, their weapons of pretty much defense, man. So all these, they're preparing for war. Again, their military armament together, preparing for war. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya. Persia is Iran. Ethiopia and Libya is the African countries. With them, all of them are the shields and helmets, because they join in and band together, man, as well. Gomer and all the bands of the house of Togarmah, which is Turkey, and all the north quarters of all his bands, and many people with these. So all these nations are going to band with Russia. Pretty much Russia's band of allies. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all the companies that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard into them. So that there will be a guard into Russia. All these other nations, Russia and their allies. Example versus U.S. and the West's allies relating to Israel and the U.S. And after many days thou shalt be visited. After many days, Shalakia. And after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, that thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and gather out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always wasted. But it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely in them. Man. That land's going to be desolate pretty much, but it's going to be rehabited again. And this talks about pretty much God related to these nations. A set of nations that's going to be guard and band to one another against another set of nations that's going to be guard and band to one another. And it says testing the resolve of the West. It's testing how the U.S. is going to respond in a certain manner relating to these affairs, man, or matters of affairs relating to the Russia and the Ukraine and Crimea situation. This was something short relating to that video. I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yoshua Bashem Rakakadash, the water for listening. Hope it helps. Shalom, thanks.